Hey, boys and girls. So, we're going to do another bubble map today, but this time we're going to do Abraham Lincoln instead of George Washington. So, we did a bubble map the other day with George Washington. So, on a bubble map, that is what we call pre-writing. It's what we do before we do our best sentence writing. So what we want to do in pre-writing with our bubble map is just get our thoughts down. It doesn't have to look the best. It doesn't have to even be in a sentence. It can just be some words. So we just want to think about some key details or some true information that we learned about Abraham Lincoln this week to get our brain thinking so that we can do our best writing. So let's think about some key details or some facts that we learned about Abraham Lincoln this week. So I'm going to think the first thing I remember is that he was the 16th president. So I'm going to type and write 16th, that's the short way to write it, president. And then I'm going to put that in my first circle at the top of my bubble map. That'll give me something I can remember about Abraham Lincoln. So then I need to think about something else I learned about Abraham Lincoln. Well, I remember that he was the tallest president. So I'm going to put that in my second bubble map. I also remember that he had a nickname. They called him Honest Abe because he was always honest and told the truth. So I'm going to write that down as his nickname, Honest Abe. Another thing I remember about Abraham Lincoln is he lived in a log cabin. So I'm going to write log cabin. He grew up and was born in a small log cabin. Another thing I remember about Abraham Lincoln is he wore a tall black hat called a stovepipe hat. And under his hat, he kept important information. So I'm going to write stovepipe hat. That'll help me remember that he wore a stovepipe or a tall black hat. And then that'll make me think of the important papers he kept under it. And then another thing that I remember about Abraham Lincoln is that he helped the country get back together after the war. All right, so I can write reunited the country and set the slaves free. Reunited the country. What are some other things you can think of, some other key details about Abraham Lincoln? Well, he loved to read. Remember, he loved to read. That was another thing we learned about Abraham Lincoln. So, here are some facts or some key details that I put in my bubble map. He was the 16th president. He was the tallest president. His nickname was Honest Abe. He lived in a log cabin. He had a tall black hat called a stovepipe hat. And underneath his hat, he carried important information. He was president during a hard time for our country when the country was fighting. But Abraham Lincoln helped set the slaves free and he reunited the country. He also loved to read. Oh, I remember too that he's on the $5 bill and the penny. Okay, so I can put that off to the side. I ran out of bubbles, but I can put that off to the side. I'm going to write $5 and penny. Oops, I didn't spell that right. Penny. All right, so I'm going to put that off to the side because I remembered that. Then we just said he set the slaves free. And I'm going to put that over here by reunited the country. And then I'm going to add important papers under his hat. I'm going to add that down here by the stovepipe hat. All right, so there's some other facts about Abraham Lincoln or key details about Abraham Lincoln. So now I'm going to do 2 key details because we're only working on 2 sentences right now. So I'm going to pick 2 things I want to tell you about Abraham Lincoln. I'm going to talk about his nickname, Honest Abe. And I'm also going to tell you that he is the 16th president. So I'm going to pick those 2 key details. Now you could have picked any of these. Those are the 2 I chose. So on my next page, I have my paper. And I'm going to try to do my best writing. And I remember that to make a sentence, I need to start with a capital letter. Well, I want to use the name Abraham Lincoln. Well, I don't know how to spell that, but I can come back to my bubble map and look right here, and I have the Abraham Lincoln's name. So I'm just going to copy that onto my first line. Abraham Lincoln. So capital A because his name, all names, if it's somebody's name, always starts with the capital letter, okay? So if it's a person's name, it's going to start with a capital or uppercase letter. And then I'm just going to copy the rest of his name from my chart. Abraham. All right. Now for his last name, I have to leave a little bit of space. And then the first letter of his last name has to be capital too, because it's still an important name. So people's first names and people's last names are always capitalized with a capital letter. Oh, I ran off a little bit. That's okay. Abraham Lincoln, and then I'm going to sweep to my next line, was. So my sentence is going to be Abraham Lincoln was the 16th president. So I have Abraham Lincoln was. Now I need to leave space and write the. Spell the for me. How do we spell the sight word the? Yep. H-E. Good job. Abraham Lincoln was the, and then I'm going to do 16th. So I'm going to do the number 16, a 1 and a 6. And then I'm going to do a little TH by it for 16th. Sweep to the next line. President. Perez. S. Perez. I. President. President. I hear an N and a T, but I'm going to go back and check my bubble map. P-R-E-S-I-D, and E comes next. E, then N, then T. All right, your bubble map can help you spell words too. Abraham Lincoln was the 16th president. Stop, I'm done. What do I need to put at the end? A period. All right, now remember, I have to write 2 sentences, so there's one. So let's go back to my bubble map. I'm going to put a little check mark here because I talked about him being the 16th president. I copied his name, and now I want to tell you his nickname was Honest Abe. So now that I've already written his name once, I don't have to write his name again. I can use the word he. So instead of writing Abraham Lincoln again, I'm going to write he because you already know who I'm talking about. I'm going to start on my new line. It's a new sentence. So he is an H. It's got to be capital because it's the first letter in my new sentence. He, how do we spell the sight word he? Spell it for me. Good, H-E. He, actually, we're going to say his. So I made a little bit of a mistake. That's okay. I'm going to change it from he to his. His. Does anybody know how to spell the sight word his? H-I-S. His, leave space, nickname. Nick. That could be a C, or it could be a K, or it actually could be a C and K. So I'm going to do a C because I'm not sure. His nickname. Nickname. I hear an A. Name. I hear an M. His nickname was, oh, I have the word was up here, so I can spell it again, W-A-S. His nickname was, and because it's a name, I'm going to make it capital, Honest. So I'm going to go back to my chart here, Honest, H-O-N, H-O-N. I'm going to go back to here, I'm looking right here, E-S-T. E-S-T. I don't have any more room, so I've got to sweep to the next line and make it a capital A because it's still part of his name. Abe. A-B-E. Periods to say stop, I'm done. All right, so let's read my sentence. Abraham Lincoln was the 16th president. His nickname was Honest Abe. So now I'm going to do my very best to try to draw a picture. Now, remember, Miss Norad's not the best artist, but I'm going to try my best. I don't know what color eyes he had, but I'm guessing probably brown. And I do know that he had a smile, but he had a beard. So he had a beard. He was also the first president to have a beard. That's another key detail that we learned as well. I could have written about that. All right, and I remember he's got some hair, so I'll give him his hair at the top. And he has the long stovepipe hat. Ooh, I'm going to run out of room. All right, and he's tall, so I got to make him tall and give him his jacket that he wore, little suit jacket. And then his pants and his shoes. Uh-oh, I came out of the box a little bit. It's okay. And then I'm going to give him his arms. All right, there's my Honest Abe. He's the 16th president, and his nickname was Honest Abe. All right, boys and girls, let's go back to my bubble map one more time. Now, I'm going to read you the key details about Abraham Lincoln one more time. You're going to pick two of them and do two sentences like I did. He was the 16th president. He was the tallest president. His nickname was Honest Abe because he told the truth. He lived in a log cabin. He wore a stovepipe hat, which is the tall black hat that he kept important papers under his hat. He set the slaves free and reunited the country. He's on the $5 bill. He's on the penny. He's also on Mount Rushmore. That's another one. And then we just remembered that he was the first president to have a beard. So that's one you could do. Now, you don't have to use the ones I have on here. You can, but if you can think of another key detail about Abraham Lincoln that we haven't done, you can do that too. All right, it's your turn. You're going to pick two key details, and you're going to write me two informational sentences about Abraham Lincoln, just like I did, but you're going to do yours in your journal. Then take a picture and send it to me. Do your best work. Bye, boys and girls.